Okie dokie, short intro time. This video will be fully timestamped. I will do gameplay section first. I will do my thoughts after the gameplay section, and then any videos or cutscenes will be after that. So just go ahead and skip ahead if you want to see the cutscenes before the gameplay. Okay, and then this is the first screen you'll come to. You'll have a doctrine, commissary, and armory. However, these are unavailable in the current preview. You can only go to deploy.
Tempest harvesting operations have been disrupted in this area. Dynasty interference is suspected. Retake and hold the position. Await the arrival of a mobile construction vehicle, then build a base and recommence harvesting. Destroy any Dynasty forces and search for signs of a nearby Dynasty base. Battle command uplink initializing. Please stand by. Battle control online. Reinforcements have arrived.
Commander? Yes, sir. You got it. Sir, engaging enemy. Move out. Targeting. Acknowledged. Engaging enemy.
I'm gonna move my camera the wrong direction so often.
Moving out. Affirmative.
Paratroopers incoming! Good luck up there!
Line them up. Awaiting orders.
Acknowledged.
Now these guys have a special ability. You can independently control their little doodads.
Going in. Taking them down. Spitting her up. Up we go. No problem. Roger that.
Now unfortunately there is no way to rebind your WSAD. I mean there is, but
Acknowledged.
they overlap.
No problem. Flame turret sighted! Get back! We can scout with our drones. See if there's a better way in.
Okay, so what they want you to do here is you get these little drones out, and you can kind of scout around with them without moving your people.
Moving out. Rifle ready. Acknowledged.
See if I was trying to bait them in there. They don't want to come.
Spitting her
And so all I want you to do really is then just move them downwards to this path down here.
Yes, command. Roger that. Up we go. Got it. Spitting her up.
Now, I wonder if you could do this. Can you go up this cliff with your drones? There's a SAM site to our left.
Drone up.
Let's find out real fast.
Hold it. Watch this.
Huh. The drone's able to go up the cliff.
Command. Taking position. We're on. You got it.
Yeah, I don't think that's intentional, but I'm gonna take it.
Ready? Acknowledged. Roger that. No problem. Give me a second.
Okay, they're all dead.
Got it.
Reinforcements have arrived.
What about backup? Acknowledged.
Get some vehicles now.
Riot medic, ready to roll. Let's get
So
to
riot
work.
medics are healers, and I'm far from aware you only get one of them right away. They can build a healing turret apparently, which I did not know, but you can't use it yet. I'm guessing you have to unlock something to do it. So these vehicles, they get a special thing called marking projectiles. Swaps to marking projectiles, which mark target enemies. Networked units gain bonus range and damage against marked targets, and marked enemies generate intel when killed.
Where do you need me?
Kind of weird it went off on its own like that. Yeah, what the heck? Okay, that's a little strange. I don't know if I like that at all.
Commander?
It's kind of funny because it wants you to avoid that turret, but you can kill it by abusing drones. Do we have to kill these? No. Do I want to? Yes. Let's see what explosions look like up close. Okay, we'll keep on moving on, moving on. I think we need to get down here to help these guys out.
Commander, we're under fire here. Need an assist.
I can't move my camera or anything. It's in a little cutscene mode. There we go. Now we can. So the move orders in this game are the typical modern RTS where right click is command, left click is cancel. I wonder what it means by generating intel.
Secondary objective accomplished.
Thanks for the help.
Now there is pathing issues in the game right now. As you can see, we click down here, the path was blocked, but he ran all the way around. So there's a little bit of pathing issues right now.
Commander, GDF forces collect intel as a resource. Intel is used to authorize limited countermeasures such as unit abilities and support powers. The Sentinel Scout Car's alternate fire mode exchanges firepower for marking rounds, generating intel when marked targets are destroyed.
Okay, here's the intel. Okay, so that's how we get intels with that. Okay. So that means, yes, we can do the healing turret, but this is just infantry and not vehicles. As far as I'm aware, there's no way to heal a vehicle in the first mission. And I don't think there's anything up over this way over here. It's just like going, oh, I keep going the wrong direction, back down this way. This is your supplies in this game, Tiberium supplies.
Roger that. We're off.
So this stuff right here is your resource in the game. It's called Tempest, I believe. There we go. They're too far away to be hit by that, so we'll just go forward. Can they run me over? The answer is no. There we go. And once again, we don't have to blow this stuff up, but I like to. Who doesn't like blowing stuff up, you know? And buildings do have armor, which we'll show off a little later. So we're just kind of getting through this little
Reinforcements have arrived.
early part here so we can show off some of the base building.
Someone ordered backup. Construction vehicles standing by, Commander. Let's build up that base.
Alright, now we are to the base building section here. So all you have to do is you deploy it, you put it where you want. I'm guessing it doesn't want you to put outside this little circle here because it doesn't want you to go too far. Pull these back a little bit. Okay, so we have our base, and you have your menu over here. You have a power plant. You whack that down anywhere within the range.
Constructing.
And it builds up just like this. So to compare this to, it would probably be the Soviets from Red Alert 3 would be the closest because it builds on the outside and then plants it out. Now, this part I wish was changed a little bit. As far as I'm aware, there is no way to rotate your structures when you're trying to place them. I did look through the menu, but I didn't notice anything. All right, so we'll snap my fingers here basically, and we'll just go to a fully built base so you don't have to wait around for this part. Okay, there we go. We're basically have a fully built base now. Now, you can put people inside of barracks, but I have no idea what the purpose of doing that is. I thought they might be able to like shoot out of it or something, but it doesn't seem like they do. So I'm not sure what the whole point of putting them in a structure is, because they don't seem to do anything. So you do have your regular shift clicking where you can build 5 and 5 and stuff like that. We'll build a few more dudes here. So you can build multiple barracks if you want to. It works just like other games, but you do have a cap on how many you can make, I believe. Do this number right here. And I wanted to show off a bit more of the little drone guys because I like the drone guys. So we'll attack these barrels here. So we got the drone selected. We can right click. I keep left clicking. Look at that. We killed the SAM site with the little guys, and everybody else is safe, and I don't even have to go into their base. Isn't that cool? So now we can put them out here. And once again, they'll have to tighten up this pathing. This pathing is a little bit silly. Look at that. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to like pull all the way around here. I keep talking about that. That's one thing that'll bother me about games is pathing. Okay, we'll attack with just everybody. Let's see how many people we can get in a control group. No, you can get a fair bit. But here we go, we have that pathing problem again. These people aren't moving up.
Secondary objective accomplished. Airstrike ready. Let's pick a location, Commander.
And we have an airstrike available, so let's go and pop this sucker right here. Here they come on the map. All right, let the swarm begin. Where are you guys going? Get back here. I do like how the drone controllers can fight on their own. Apparently when those flame tanks explode, they drop a guy outside of them, and they also damage nearby dudes.
Spinning her up. Got it. I'll do what I can.
There we go, now we can kill the rest of the stuff in the base. I just like blowing stuff up. I would like space to be waypoint mode or something. Or at least the ability to do space waypoint mode, because it's my preferred hotkey for it. We'll take a look at this little thing right here. So, it does seem pretty sweet. I forgot to touch on this earlier, but here's your structures real fast. You do have your Gatling guns, and they do have a damage type on them. And they do have an armor value against certain weapon types like fire. They have no resistance against them with rocket explosives, but snipers and rifles, they have resistances, and cannons, they have resistances as well. And every building is like this. It has its own value. I don't know if these values are shared across everything, but they do have damage and perks on them, so it's pretty nice. Like here's your power plants over here, and like I said, I do wish they would show you how much each power plant gave you. All right, let's wrap up this mission real quick.
Objective accomplished. Hell yeah! That's the last of them!
So, what'd you guys think of the preview here? Did you like what you saw? Let me know. Alright, so there are some pathing issues in the game. If we pick our guys and we go up here, and we run them all the way up here, some funny stuff happens. people will continuously run back and forth because they'll be confused on where to go once they try to do their pathfinding. So you get your edge cases like this down here. So one thing I think they do need to work on is edge cases for their pathfinding system, because you really don't want units running around randomly on the battlefield, right? And then another thing is harvesters. There's still more to harvest back here, or at least there was earlier, before I panned over. I mean, it's gone now, but before I panned over, there was more over there. The harvesters will kind of randomly waddle around. Sometimes they'll go to the regrown stuff up here and grab it. And like this is regrowing right here, I think. I can't quite get the camera over there. But they'll wander down, they'll grab stuff, and then they'll go back to their refinery instead of just using the closest one. So each refinery has its own dedicated harvester instead of just using the one that's closest to it, which is a bit confusing to me. If you're doing like a multiple harvester setup, or excuse me, a refinery setup, I would like it if like these two would use this one right here. There's no reason for them to drive all the way back to their primary one. Just use the one that's closest. Now, I do hope this does change later on in the game cycle. There is no current way, at least in the campaign that's available to us in the demo, to repack your construction yard. I would love the ability to repack up my construction yard because there's more of this stuff back here that we could grab. And even up here, like you could slap down a refinery if you put your building close enough up here. So it would be nice to see the ability to repack your MCV once the game releases. And then a bit more description on some of the power plant stuff, like how much power does this provide before I slap it down? Like this shows that it takes 30. Why can't this show like a symbol for how much it gives, right? So far I do like how the units tend to fight. Like they group up and they move around pretty well so far. But like just like I mentioned earlier, there is those edge cases where they kind of run around aimlessly. Like look at this right here. This is blocked off because I built them connected to each other, but if you look at it, like look at this guy going all the way around because they don't think this is an area you can path through. It would be nice if they tightened up the constraints of the building a little bit so that it matches the image of the building. This is an open area. I would like the capability of passing through it with units that can fit through there. And we just saw some of that weird pathing back there as well. Like that does need to get fixed. I also did learn that you cannot place a building if a unit is standing there. I don't know why this would be the case. Just make it so if I try to click here with a unit there, the unit simply just moves out of the way. Would be the cleanest solution for it. There's no reason that my unit should block that off. And so far the game does play pretty smoothly. I haven't really noticed too many frame losses. If we take a quick look at the settings I'm using for it, I'm using medium quality shadows. Everything else is on epic. So the only thing I have turned down is the medium shadow quality. And I am pulling a stable 60 frames, which you can't see. I am pulling a stable 60 frames while recording, which does take a good chunk of processing power. Now, as far as controls go in the game, if we look at units real quick, we have this section down here: attack, move, stop, guard, patrol, and hold position. However, there is no current way to change those controls. If we go to controls here and we turn on UI, for example, we can see we have the UI buildings. However, if I replace the buildings tab with the A key, this A down here does not get cleared. There is no current way that I know of to change these symbols down here. So if I change A to here, it will select the buildings tab, but if I have units selected, they'll also go into attack mode. It's the same with the camera controls here. With the camera controls, if I change move up to W, move down to S, and then move left to A, every time I would select move left, it would try to do an attack move. Same thing, every time if I put D on move right, it would try to do guard mode. So I would like it to have these options in here, like unit, call them like, I don't know, unit commands or something, and able to change these. I love attack mode to be on Z, for example. I love my stop command to be on X, but that is kind of my issue with the control scheme right now, is I like using WSAD. I do not like using middle mouse click to move my screen around. I like using WSAD to move smoothly. I do have a hotkey switching program that allows me to do this sort of thing. Auto hotkey, that's great. So I do like the fact that you can select all these units and you do get the drone thing. I wish there was more guys with abilities up here. Do I have the... No, there he is. He's just not getting selected. Oh, he is getting selected. There's this little down arrow. I didn't notice that. I would like it if these abilities were up here and they just took on different hotkeys as well. So that way you could select all of them without having to move around your selection. You can't tab through them either. So another thing would be if you have multiple units with abilities, you could tab and it would do the different groups up here. So like it would go from drone operator and it would jump down to... I can't even find it. Wherever the field medic is in this list. I don't know where the field medic is because I don't remember what it looks like. Some things I do like about the game, I do like how the resource in this game is like this Tempest stuff, which reminds me a lot of like the Tiberium growth on those maps back in Tib Sun, where you could have a harvester for it and it would do its like own special thing and it had its own special structure for it, but this is just your regular resource in here. But I do like the look of it. And for clarity's sake, these little nub jewels are what you're harvesting, I believe. I don't know what the resource value for that is, because I wasn't really paying attention to it. But I did notice that when your harvester harvests a little bit, it will try to go to other areas and harvest more before going back. And other times it will just harvest a little bit and then immediately go back. So I don't really know how the AI works for these harvesters. It's a bit strange sometimes. I do like the environment and how it looks. We do have enough visual clarity so stuff doesn't really get lost in the cluster, because a lot of RTSs I played past 2010 had an issue where visual clutter where everything kind of blended together was a problem. These units do seem to stand out, and it does help they have little circles beneath them, but they do stand out on their own. Like if I was looking at an area quickly, I could pick these out fairly fast while looking at an area, because they are visually distinct enough from their environment to be noticeable. I also appreciate how the sandbags look in regards to their environment as well, due to the slight shadows they have on the ground. It looks like it's not out of place. It looks like these sandbags belong here, whereas in some games the walls, when you try to build them, they stand out a bit too much and don't really blend into the environment. So I do appreciate the fact that these blend into their environment fairly well. And same thing with the structures. The structures match their environment. There's often an issue in games where the building's art style doesn't match the terrain art style, but I am happy to see that this game has that pretty down pat. Overall, I'm not disappointed with what I've seen so far. The only real complaint I have that I did touch on a few times was they really need to tighten up that unit pathing. If there's one thing that will make or break a real-time strategy game, it is pathing. It does seem to be quite a bit of capability of micro in this game, of pulling units back from combat. If they start getting damage, you can pull them back. Kind of similar to StarCraft in that regards, because in Command & Conquer you generally don't micro too heavily. It's more of a macro-heavy game. But it does seem like you have the capability of microing in this game, which is very nice.
Commander, good of you to join us. Gotta say, your file was a pretty impressive read. I'm Colonel Fisher. You'll be reporting directly to me. We could certainly use someone with your track record. Intelligence has a situation brewing in, in Iceland. We have routine Tempest harvesting all over the grid, but some of the lights are going out, starting from the east coast. If you ask me, I reckon it looks deliberate. I want you to do a sweep of the area and flush out any Dynasty forces you might find. Remind them that the GDF isn't to be trifled with. I'll link your control interface to the battle network. If you've got any questions, now's the time to voice them. Despite what you hear in the news, the Tempest Dynasty isn't actually led by Domovoy Malkalin. You've seen his face. He's a figurehead, being puppeted around as a mascot. All because he founded the Dynasty, gave his people something to focus on in the fallout. It's PR. These days he probably doesn't know where he is half the time. The Dynasty is actually controlled by Alex Malkalin, his son. That man's the reason the Dynasty even qualifies as a military, rather than a band of old men waving their sticks at the world because of how the war ended. They're a threat, sure, but only because they think they've got something to point. That's why we're here. Technically, the threat level is negligible. To be honest, I don't like it. If it is the Dynasty, they're up to something. There's a lot of Tempest all over Iceland, and you know they're obsessed with the stuff. Why go all that way just to harass our harvesters? They've got their own irradiated zones to squabble over. Let's hope a small contingent just got a bit too big for their own boots. Watch your back out there, that's all I'm saying. According to scopes, nothing. We're chasing ghosts with guns. Maybe it is nothing, but I'll believe that when I see it. Take care of your units, and keep your eyes sharp. They're counting on you. Glad to hear it. Stand by while I patch you through, and good luck. I put my neck on the block to get you this position. Don't let me down. Let's see what you can do, Commander.
Battle command uplink initializing. Please stand by.
The Dynasty have amassed an enormous army right under our noses. And as of 10 minutes ago, while the GDF Council was debating whether to even respond, the Dynasty have launched attacks across our western border. They've been planning this for God knows how long.
Harvesting operation sighted.
SciComm, code red. Issue an immediate retreat order to all GDF units in 10 miles. Get our troops out of there. Weapons free. These things fire, fire back. Get our drone fleet in the air and get me a satellite pointed at this. I want to know what the hell we're dealing with. Reinforcements on their way to you. Pull that base apart.
You've discovered a strange property. On a large scale, the event could be catastrophic. Get me one of these missiles, Commander.